And I'm thrilled to be here tonight with crooked Joe Biden's absolutely worst nightmare. Hundreds of proud, black, conservative American patriots. This November, black Americans are going to tell, you all watch The Apprentice, right? They're going to tell crooked Joe Biden, you're fired. You're fired. Get the hell out of here. Everywhere Joe Biden puts our citizens last, I will put you first. You will be first, and America will be first. And these lights are so bright in my eyes that I can't see too many people out there. But I can only see the black ones. I can't see any white ones, you see. And I'm thrilled to be here tonight with crooked Joe Biden's absolutely worst nightmare. Hundreds of proud, black, conservative American patriots. The worst nightmare. Together, we're part of the greatest political movement in the history of our country. It is the greatest movement, I think, without question, in the history of our country. And it's done great things, and then we had a little interruption. But the interruption's not going to last much longer, and we're going to have a tremendous victory. It's going to be even, I believe, greater and probably more important even than in 2016. That was now number one, but I think this is going to be something very, very special. Over the past 8 years, we've energized the Republican Party, and we've expanded the Republican Party. You and I have made it bigger, better, and so much more interesting than ever before, and much more important than ever before. In 2020, we increased our share of black vote by 50%, 5-0. And we earned more votes from African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and Asian Americans than any Republican in generations. This hasn't been, you go back many, many decades, and we're really honored by it. We're on track now to smash. You see what's happening. The polling's coming out, and they go, wait a minute, there must be a mistake here. They're saying black people really like Trump. There must be a mistake. These guys know it's no mistake. They're saying, what's going on? We had one today, 28%. We had one at 31%. And, you know, I hate to say, when I looked at Romney, does anybody know Romney? Didn't he get 4%? He got 4% and falling. And we're at a number that people are, frankly, if we were 28%, I don't even think we have to do the election. They would just, I think they just, wouldn't they just sort of leave? They would leave. They'd just say, let's get out of town. Well, the getting is good because we're going to do great things for everybody, for all Americans. As one sign of just how great a job we've done, there are more black Republicans serving in the U.S. House of Representatives today than at any time since the 1870s. That's a long time ago. To me, that's a sign of progress, but the radical left Democrats in a cause, and it's a cause for panic for them. It's a nightmare, hysteria, and rampant outbreaks. They're suffering from a terminal case of Trump derangement syndrome. Have you all heard? They have Trump derangement. They are really not doing well. And they shouldn't be doing well because, honestly, they've done a lousy job for you. They've done a lousy job for you. They've done a lousy job for everybody. But for black Americans, they have done a very poor job. Every day, we are welcoming more black voters back home to the Republican Party. You remember the Party of Lincoln, to help us reclaim the party of Frederick Douglass, party of Abraham Lincoln and other great people. We appreciate some of the people that I gave pardons to are in this room, and we all know who you are. I know who you are, and it was my honor. It was my honor. A man who I really like, and he's a hell of a pastor, I can tell you that, Pastor Mark Burns. Mark, where are you? Where's Mark Burns? He's a great guy. Good. These lights are so bright in my eyes that I can't see too many people out there. But I can only see the black ones. I can't see any white ones, you see. That's how far I've come. That's how far I've come. That's a long way, isn't it? These lights. I said to the people, I didn't say this often, but I said, look, here's a story. I always respected the office of the president and the presidency so much, and I would never hit Biden very hard. But then he indicted me. He indicted me. I said, I can't believe it. I got indicted. I got impeached, and we won them, thanks to these couple of guys back here. But I got impeached, and Ben was helpful, too, I will tell you. But I got impeached. That was a terrible thing. Should never happen. And it turned out I was right in the impeachment. The phone call turned out to be exactly right. They found the laptop from hell. It confirmed everything that I said. They actually go around now saying, you know, we shouldn't have impeached that guy. He was absolutely right. But we beat him twice. But I got indicted for nothing, for something that is nothing. They were doing it because it's election interference. And then I got indicted a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time. And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against. And they actually viewed me as I'm being discriminated against. It's been pretty amazing. But it possibly, I don't know, maybe there's something there. But I got also sued, and a lot of it comes right out. All of it comes out of the Justice Department, or it comes out of the Democrat Party. And it's a disgrace. This is like a third world country. And I say often, Alphonse Capone, I don't know if you know who Alphonse Capone is. This was the roughest, meanest gangster in history. I've been indicted more than Alphonse Capone, Scarface. If he had dinner with you and if he didn't like the tone of your voice, he would kill you that night. You would never see your family again. You were dead. I got indicted. My parents are looking down, say, how the hell did this happen to my son? I never heard the word practically. But we're going to do something that's great for our country. We're going to make America great again for everybody, but we're going to make America great again also. And I'm not sure I can say necessarily again in this case for African Americans. We're going to make America great for all of our country, but for African Americans. And maybe we have to leave the word again out. You understand what I mean? Because maybe there is no again. We're going to make it great for you and great for everybody, and that's important. Our country's gone through hell, and in many cases, our country is in hell right now, and we're going to turn it around. We're going to turn it around fast for everybody, and I think you're going to be very happy. Our message to the black community in this election will be a very simple one. If you want strong borders, safe neighborhoods, rising wages, good jobs, great education, and the return of the American dream, then congratulations, you are a Republican. It's pretty simple. Joe Biden and the radical left have abandoned everything black Americans care about. They've really let you down. Look, we all understand it. They've thrown black Americans overboard, and it's been not a pretty thing to watch. You take a look at some of these inner cities, but I and the Republican Party will fight for the black community like you have never had anybody fight for you before. And with me, you will never be taken for granted. You will never be taken for granted. They've taken you for granted. Do you ever notice they always come around about 2 months before an election? Then they get your votes, and then they go on, and, 4 years later, they come and say hello, or 2 years, depending on what office we're talking about. But they come back, and they do nothing. They do absolutely nothing until it's election time. Then they come and they seek your vote. The future we want is one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, and that's what we're doing, and that's what we're going to happen. And Joe Biden is actually... his incompetence, perhaps, but Joe Biden is a threat to democracy, a real threat to democracy. They're trying to turn that around. They're trying to say, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. No. When they do weaponization and when they do election interference like a third world country, they're really a threat to democracy. Under my administration, black Americans prospered like no time in the history of our country. We achieved the lowest African-American unemployment rate ever recorded. That's a big stat. That's like, Babe Ruth hit the most home runs. But we also set record low unemployment rate among black young people. It was a record. It was never anything like it. Before the China virus, you don't mind if I call it that. We want to be accurate, It came out of China. It came out of China, right? 1.2 million African Americans lifted themselves out of poverty on the strength of the Trump economy, the most in more than a century. Think of it. It's never happened like that before. Black Americans saw their largest increase in home ownership ever recorded. These are things that happened during this 4-year period, Wesley, right? All of it. The black labor force participation rate reached its highest point in a generation. I got record funding for historically black colleges and universities. Under crooked Joe Biden, it's been nothing but, it's really a catastrophe and a disaster, and you know it better. And I'm not saying this, and this is from the heart. It's been a disaster for black Americans. Biden gave you a 3-year inflation rate of almost 39%. So over 3 years, didn't matter if you made a little bit more money. After inflation, you were way, way behind. The number of African American families living in poverty has increased by more than 50% since the year 1 of his administration. Hard to say that his administration, because, you know, we got more votes than anybody in the history of a sitting president. We got millions more votes than we did in 2016. I was told by John McLaughlin and Fabrizio, the great pollsters, sir, if you can get 63 million votes, that's what we got in 16, there's no way you can be beaten. Well, we got like 75 million votes. I said, so I guess we didn't get beaten, yeah? But they said we got beaten. Now, we're going to be watching very closely. Look, we have a country that's got a lot of things going on. We have an open border. We have bad elections. We have very, very bad elections. You have to have honest elections and strong borders, or you don't have a country. You don't have a country. The average mortgage payment is now almost 2 times as high, costing the typical family an extra $19,000 a year in mortgage payments from when I was president. You and your family cannot afford 4 more years of Bidenomics. He thinks it's a good term. It's a really bad term. Anything having to do with his name is bad. That's why this November, black Americans are going to tell, you all watch The Apprentice, right? They're going to tell crooked Joe Biden, you're fired. You're fired. Get the hell out of here. You're fired. Get out of here.